Okay, so today we're going to try to help you guys prep for a specialist dentist interview. I mean, just the thought of it kind of makes me sweat a little bit. But luckily, we've got RoleCatcher's resources with us today.
Well,
So,
yeah, definitely not for the faint of heart. Becoming a specialist dentist, it's a journey, but the rewards are huge, both professionally and personally, and the demand is just skyrocketing. People are just so much more aware of oral health than ever before, and dentistry is getting super advanced these days.
totally. And RoleCatcher has this career guide that breaks down exactly what these specialists do. And it's definitely a lot more than just checkups and cleanings.
Oh, for sure. Think elite forces of dentistry. They handle the really complex cases that need that extra special expertise.
Right. And there are two main branches. You've got oral surgery and orthodontics. RoleCatcher calls the oral surgeons the architects of the mouth. I mean, they're reconstructing jaws and placing implants. High-stakes stuff.
It's like artistry meets microsurgery. And then you have the orthodontists. They're like the sculptors of smiles, masters of braces, aligners, and all things bite-related.
So how do you even land an interview for one of these super specialized roles? RoleCatcher says AI is changing the game. And I'm not talking about robots taking over the interviews. It's something even cooler.
Yeah, it's like a secret weapon for your resume. So employers are using AI to scan resumes, and they're looking for really specific skills and keywords. But RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you tailor your resume to each job. You highlight those skills they're looking for.
So you're not just submitting any old resume. It's like a smart resume. But let's get to the real deal, the interview.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher has this entire guide dedicated to specialist dentist interview questions.
Ah, yes. Preparation is key. This deep dive today is like boot camp.
Exactly. And we're going to jump right into some of those questions, unpack what they're really looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, first one, a classic. How did you become interested in dentistry?
Ooh, that's a good one. It weeds out the folks who are just there for the paycheck. You gotta have passion for the field.
All right.
And RoleCatcher emphasizes you can't just give a generic answer. They want your unique story. Think back to what got you into dentistry. What sparked that interest? Was it something from your childhood, a mentor who inspired you, or maybe it was the science behind it that fascinated you?
So storytelling is key. And a good story makes you memorable. But what about those who maybe had a less dramatic journey to dentistry?
There's still a story there. Maybe you started in a completely different field and then found your way to dentistry. Or maybe it was a slower realization that this was your calling. The important thing is to be authentic. Let your enthusiasm shine through.
Okay, next up on RoleCatcher's list. What do you consider to be the most important qualities in a specialist dentist? This one feels like it's not just about your skills, but also your values.
Oh, absolutely. It goes way beyond just the technical stuff. RoleCatcher says they're looking for someone who's not just a skilled clinician, but a fantastic communicator, a problem solver, and someone who's really empathetic towards patients.
Yeah, those soft skills. They're harder to show on a resume. So this is your moment to shine. What kind of follow-up questions could they ask to really dig into those qualities?
Well, they might ask you to describe a time when you had to communicate really complex information to a patient, or how you would handle a difficult patient interaction. They could also ask about teamwork, especially in a high-pressure environment like surgery.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's all about thinking about those real-world situations. Okay, let's get a little technical now. What is your experience with specialized dental procedures, such as implants or root canals?
All right, this is where you can show off what you know. But RoleCatcher says don't just list procedures, you have to quantify your experience. So instead of just saying, I've assisted with implant procedures, say, I've assisted with over 50 implant procedures.
Right. Show them you've got the experience. But what if you're earlier in your career and haven't had a ton of experience with certain procedures?
You know, it's okay to be honest about where you're at. If you haven't done certain procedures independently, you can still talk about what you know. Maybe you've observed them, assisted with parts of them, or even just studied them extensively.
It's all about showing you're eager to learn and staying up to date in your field. Speaking of staying up to date, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you tailor your answers to specific job roles. How does that work?
It analyzes the job description. It picks out those key skills and keywords related to the job, and then it can suggest ways to work those keywords into your answers.
Wow, that's really smart. Like a personal coach who knows exactly what each employer wants. I'm already feeling more confident. And we've just scratched the surface of what RoleCatcher offers.
It really is amazing what RoleCatcher has put together. Okay, let's keep going with these interview questions. Here's one that can trip people up. How do you handle difficult patients or situations?
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. You can't just say, I avoid them at all costs.
Yeah.
But seriously, dealing with difficult patients is a reality. in any healthcare field. What does RoleCatcher say?
Well, they emphasize you need to showcase your problem-solving skills, your ability to stay calm when things get tough, and that commitment to patient care.
Right, so not just having thick skin, but showing you can handle those interactions gracefully and professionally.
Exactly. Try to think of a specific situation where you successfully dealt with a difficult patient. Maybe someone was anxious or frustrated. How'd you approach it? What strategies did you use to de-escalate the situation?
I bet a good story can really help here. And I imagine they're also looking to see if you learn from those situations.
Of course, showing that you can reflect on those tough situations and see where you can improve, that's a sign of real maturity. Oh, and don't be afraid to mention any training or certifications you have in conflict resolution or patient communication.
Okay, that makes sense. Now here's a question that feels really relevant to specialist dentistry. What is your understanding of the ethical considerations in this field? I imagine ethics are a huge deal, especially when you're dealing with such complex procedures and anxious patients.
You're so right. Ethics are everything. RoleCatcher points out the importance of informed consent, patient confidentiality, and maintaining the highest standards of care.
So how do you showcase your ethical side in an interview?
Talk about your commitment to staying up to date on all the ethical guidelines and regulations. Maybe even mention a time you face an ethical dilemma and how you handled it. The key is to show that you take ethics seriously and you're ready to face those complex situations with integrity.
Speaking of integrity, RoleCatcher also asks, how do you ensure patient confidentiality and privacy? Seems like a given, but I'm guessing they want more than just, I follow the rules.
Definitely more to it than that. They want to know the specific steps you take. Talk about secure data storage, staff training on privacy protocols, and always getting informed consent before sharing any patient info.
So it's about being proactive and showing you understand just how important patient privacy is.
Okay, this next one's all about leadership. What is your approach to mentoring and training junior dentists or staff members? I imagine this is crucial in a specialized field, where you're passing on those advanced skills.
It is crucial. It's about assessing your leadership potential, seeing if you're willing to share what you know, and your ability to create a positive learning environment. RoleCatcher suggests highlighting any mentoring or teaching experience you have.
Right, and it's not just about being a good teacher, it's about inspiring others to grow. What kind of follow-up questions could they ask to dive deeper into your mentoring style?
Well, they might ask about a specific challenge you faced while mentoring, how you give constructive feedback, or how you create that supportive learning environment. For those just starting out, they might even ask about your overall philosophy on mentorship. It's your chance to show your passion for professional development. Before we move on to more questions, I want to go back to RoleCatcher's career guide for a sec. They map out the different stages of a specialist dentist's career. I found that super helpful.
Oh yeah, it's great. Breaking it down into entry-level, junior, and senior stages. They even give you examples of people at each stage. With their typical responsibilities and salary ranges, it's like a sneak peek into your future.
I love having that roadmap. And they really emphasize continuous learning and professional development throughout your career. There's even a whole section on networking and building relationships in the industry.
So important. Dentistry is constantly changing. Networking opens doors to opportunities you might not even know are out there. Plus, it's a great way to stay informed about the latest advancements and share best practices.
And get this, RoleCatcher's AI can help with networking too. They have a feature that analyzes your profile and then suggests people you could connect with based on your career goals and interests.
Wow, it's like a matchmaker for your professional life.
Speaking of AI, let's talk about how it can help you tailor your answers to those interview questions. Yes, please. I'm all about working smarter, not harder.
It's all about understanding what each specific job needs. RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the job description, find those key skills and experiences the employer is looking for, and then suggest ways to emphasize those things in your answers.
So you're hitting all the right notes. It's like having a cheat sheet for each interview. I'm seriously impressed with how RoleCatcher uses AI in every step.
It really is like a virtual career coach. But even with the AI, it's still important to do your own research. RoleCatcher gives you the tools and insights, but you have to use them effectively and show off your own unique skills and personality.
So are you ready for some more of those challenging interview questions? I'm feeling pumped.
Bring it on! Let's see what RoleCatcher has for us next.
All right, here's one that might make even the most experienced dentist pause. Describe a time when you had to make a difficult clinical decision. This one's all about judgment And thinking critically under pressure, right?
Absolutely. This goes beyond just knowing the textbook answers. It's about showing you can assess a complex situation, weigh the risks and benefits, and make an informed decision, putting the patient's well-being first.
So how do you even start preparing for a question like that?
RoleCatcher suggests thinking back on your career. Find a situation where you faced a tough clinical decision, maybe a complex diagnosis, a treatment plan with several options, or even a time you had to really advocate for a patient's needs.
And don't be afraid to get into the details.
Talking about a real scenario is so much more impactful than just speaking generally. Exactly, walk the interviewers through how you thought about it. Explain how you gathered information, considered different opinions, and how you ultimately made the decision. And don't forget the outcome. Did your decision have a positive impact on the patient?
Yeah, sharing a success story can really make your expertise shine. Okay, here's one that gets to the heart of patient care. How do you establish trust and build rapport with your patients? This seems especially crucial in specialized dentistry. When procedures are more complex and anxieties are running high,
It's all about connecting with patients, going beyond just the clinical stuff. RoleCatcher really emphasizes active listening, clear communication, and empathy.
so it's not just about explaining the procedure. It's about creating a real sense of trust and understanding.
Exactly. You can talk about how you take the time to explain things clearly, how you address their concerns and anxieties, and how you create that welcoming and comfortable environment.
And a good story can really help bring that to life. Maybe share a time when you went above and beyond to make a patient feel at ease.
Great idea. Personal stories make your answers more memorable and relatable, and don't be afraid to let your personality come through.
All right, here's another one. How do you stay up to date with the latest advancements in dentistry? It's a field that never stops evolving. So showing that you're committed to lifelong learning is key.
RoleCatcher stresses the importance of continuous professional development. You can mention specific journals you read, conferences you attend, online resources you follow, professional organizations you're part of.
It's not just about taking in information. It's about using it. Maybe you can talk about a recent advancement that excites you and how you're incorporating it into your practice.
Exactly. Show them you're not just following trends, but actively finding ways to improve your skills and give the best possible care to your patients.
And once again, RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful here. Their platform recommends courses, conferences, even articles based on your goals and interests. It's like having a personalized learning plan.
It's amazing how AI is changing how we learn and grow professionally. But let's not forget about the human side of things. Mentorship and collaboration with colleagues, those are still so valuable for staying at the top of your game.
Okay, here's a question that can be a little tricky. How do you handle conflicts or disagreements with colleagues or staff members? Dentistry can be high pressure. I'm sure conflicts are bound to happen sometimes.
Absolutely, and RoleCatcher really emphasizes teamwork in any dental practice. They want to see you can handle conflicts professionally and constructively, with a focus on finding solutions that work for everyone, and especially for the patients.
It's not about winning or losing. It's about working together to create a positive and productive environment.
Exactly. Talk about your communication skills, your ability to listen to different points of view, and how you approach conflict resolution.
A real-life example might be helpful here. Maybe a time you successfully dealt with a conflict with a coworker.
That's a great idea. Be specific about what you did, the communication you used, and the positive outcome you achieved.
Okay, now for a question about the business side of dentistry. How do you balance patient care with business goals and objectives? This feels tricky, like finding that sweet spot between great care and a successful practice.
It's a delicate balance for sure. RoleCatcher says to emphasize that patient care always comes first, but also acknowledge that a thriving practice helps you care for more patients.
So it's not about choosing one over the other. It's about realizing they're connected.
Exactly. You can talk about your experience with managing budgets, streamlining workflows, or even marketing to attract new patients. The key is showing you understand the business side without sacrificing your commitment to ethical and compassionate care.
And you guessed it, RoleCatcher's AI can help here too. They have a feature that analyzes your practice data and gives you insights on how to improve efficiency and profitability.
It's like having a virtual business consultant.
It's crazy how AI is changing everything about dentistry, from patient care to running the practice.
It really is, but even with the tech, you still need a strong foundation in the basics of business.
Now let's talk about your professional growth. Here's the question. What are your long-term career goals? Hey, I imagine this is about showing you're ambitious and thinking about your future in the field.
Absolutely. It's about showing them you want a career, not just a job. RoleCatcher says to be specific about your dreams. Do you want to specialize further take on a leadership position, contribute to research or education?
Paint a picture of where you see yourself in 5, 10, even 20 years.
Exactly, and tie those goals back to the job you're interviewing for. How will this role help you reach those aspirations?
And don't hold back on the enthusiasm. Let them see how passionate you are about dentistry and how excited you are about all the possibilities.
Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize something. RoleCatcher's resources aren't just about giving you the right answers. They're about helping you really understand the field, the challenges, and the opportunities.
It's about walking into that interview feeling confident and authentic. And you know what? We've covered a ton of ground, but we're not done yet.
There's still more to explore. In our last segment, we're going to dive into RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools and how they can help you prep for those tricky behavioral questions.
You won't want to miss it. Okay, we're back and ready to unlock the secret weapon, RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools. We've talked about how they can help you tailor your resume and analyze your answers, but there's even more.
It really is like having a whole team of coaches in your pocket, dedicated to making you shine. RoleCatcher's AI takes interview prep to a new level, especially when it comes to those behavioral questions.
Yeah, the dreaded tell me about a time when... questions. They can really throw you for a loop if you're not ready. What's RoleCatcher got for us here?
They have this amazing feature. It's called the Scenario Simulator. It gives you these realistic interview scenarios, and then the AI analyzes how you respond.
So like a virtual mock interview,
Yeah,
but with AI feedback.
exactly. And you can pick scenarios that are relevant to the jobs you're applying for, dealing with a difficult patient resolving a conflict with a colleague, or making a tough clinical decision. The AI looks at your answers, checks for clarity, conciseness, relevance, and even gives you suggestions.
That's so cool. It's like having someone point out your weaknesses and then tell you how to fix them. But how does the AI even know what a good answer looks like?
RoleCatcher trained their AI on a huge data set of successful interview responses from real specialist dentists, so it's learned what works and what doesn't.
So it's not just giving you general advice. It's specific to dentistry and what interviewers are looking for.
Right, and the best part is you can practice as much as you need until you feel totally ready for anything they throw at you.
Speaking of feeling confident, RoleCatcher can also analyze your body language and tone of voice. During video practice sessions, this seems so important now, with so many virtual interviews happening.
It's all about making sure you're coming across confidently and professionally, even if it's just through a screen. The AI can pick up on subtle cues, things that might be sending the wrong message, and then it gives you tips on how to improve.
So it's not just what you say, but how you say it. Having that AI feedback can really help you make a strong impression.
And beyond just interview prep, RoleCatcher's AI can help you with your whole career. Remember that career compass feature?
Yeah, the one that's like a digital career counselor.
It analyzes your skills, your interests, what you've already done, and then suggests career paths you might not have even thought of.
Wow. So it's not just about finding your next job. It's like planning your future in dentistry.
Exactly. And it can even point out skills you might need to work on to reach your full potential. Then it recommends courses or certifications to help you get there.
That's so helpful, like a roadmap for your career. But with all this talk about AI, we can't forget about the human side of things. Where does that fit in?
RoleCatcher knows that AI is powerful, but it can't replace human connection. Their platform actually helps you connect with experienced specialist dentists, people who can give you personalized advice and support.
So using AI to make things easier, but still building those relationships and learning from those who've been there. I love that.
Do too. And something I've learned from RoleCatcher? Becoming a specialist dentist isn't just about skills. It's about having the right mindset.
What do you mean?
It's about resilience, adaptability, a commitment to always learning and growing, seeing challenges as opportunities, and never losing sight of why you're doing this.
That's pretty inspiring. It's about so much more than just teeth.
Exactly. It's about improving lives. RoleCatcher gives you the tools and resources to not just succeed, but to really find meaning in your work.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into specialist dentistry, here's a thought to leave you with. The road ahead might be tough, but the rewards are huge.
You've got the right preparation, the right attitude, and amazing resources like RoleCatcher. You can achieve anything you set your mind to and make a real difference in the world.
It's been awesome exploring all this with you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
And to everyone out there dreaming of becoming a specialist dentist, believe in yourselves, keep learning, keep growing, and never give up on excellence. You've got this